So now I've got an argument, no dogs are animals, all mammals are dogs, no mammals are animals. Again, I'll draw a premise diagram, conclusion diagram, labeling them completely. Each diagram is going to have 3 circles because it's a syllogism. Syllogisms have 3 classes. My subject of my conclusion, my minor term, also in the minor premise, that goes in the bottom left. The predicate of my conclusion, a major term, also in the major premise, that goes in the bottom right. And then the middle or bridging term, the one that's in both premises, that goes up top. Premise diagram, conclusion diagram, same labeling. Now, I always start with universals when I fill out my premise diagrams. These are both universals. So let's go ahead and start with my minor premise this time. All mammals are dogs. So I'm being a good Boolean. I don't know if there are any mammals. I don't know if there are any dogs. Here's what I know. I know that everything that's a mammal, everything in that M circle is also a dog, is also in that D circle. So this area here, I'm a mammal, I'm not a dog. That would have to be empty. So I shade that in. I shade in mammal and only mammal, not dog. And I shade in mammal and animal, not dog. Everything in M that is outside of D. And so when I shade, I'm going to be shading 2 areas in all my categorical syllogism Venn diagrams. Now let's go ahead and do that major premise, no dogs or animals. Don't know if there are any dogs, don't know if there are any animals. Here's what I know. Nothing that's a dog, nothing that's in D is also an animal, is also an A. So that intersection here between D and A, that area where you're both, that would have to be empty. So again, I'll shade that in. I'll shade in D and A and not M, this area, and I'll shade in D and A and M, this area, because they're both in D and they're both in A, and nothing in D can also be in A, so that whole area would have to be empty. 2 areas get shaded. Now let's go ahead and look at my conclusion. Again, it's a universal negative, no mammals or animals. So I'll go over here, I say, okay, here's my mammal circle. Nothing that's a mammal is also an animal. Here's my animal circle. So this intersection area here, this area where you could be both inside the mammals and inside the animals, that would have to be empty. Nothing can be both, so this area has to be empty. So I shade that, like so. Now, this is what I need to make my conclusion true. Nothing else has to be true for sure. As long as this area is empty, this conclusion is true. So now I say I need this area to be empty to make my conclusion true. Here's the way the rule would be if my premises are true. I look at that area here and I say to myself, wow, look at that. So this whole area here has to be empty if my premises are true. And if it's empty, that guarantees my conclusion is true. So this argument is valid in Boolean. And because it's valid in Boolean, it's also valid in Aristotelian. So I'd write valid Boolean, valid Aristotelian, or valid in both logics. Let's look at one last example.